All right. Good girl, my missy. I am going to review Insider Business's piece that they did on me. I want to start it off with what really tipped me off last night. I recognized that I hadn't recognized in the first couple times that I watched it.
No!
Oh my gosh.
No!
Oh my gosh.
No!
Oh my gosh.
No!
Oh my gosh. They literally inserted a cussing bleep to make provably, that's proof that they did at least that one thing intentionally to make me look bad. After I realized that last night, it's just like the third time that I had watched it, I started watching it with a hairier eyeball, with that in mind. Check this out.
Aaron Fletcher has been preparing for the end of the world for 15 years. He chose to be homeless in his early 20s. Now, he lives in this wagon.
The whole thing is custom built to my body, to the very quarter inch of how tall this is.
And survives off sheep's milk.
I've never said that.
Every 400 years, societies collapse.
Throughout this whole video, he takes little pieces of our conversation that make me look bad. We discussed this in the conversation right after this. He questioned me. He was like, that doesn't make sense. That doesn't add up. Like, what do you mean society collapses every 400 years? And I was like, I meant empires. They published my misspeaking clip instead of my correction clip.
Oh, that's good. And we're overdue?
I spent 3 days with Aaron and
He spent 3 days with me and got dozens of hours of footage. And it took him and his editing team that he had working on this over a year to craft their narrative here. It's only 13 minutes long. Most of their videos are longer than 13 minutes. Keep that in mind.
rural Oregon, documenting his attempt to live completely off-grid.
Fresh sheep milk latte. Very creamy.
Aaron says his sustainable solutions could help millions.
And my entire life is
I've never said that. I've never put a number on it.
ongoing experiment.
But is this way of life healthy? Or has Aaron taken prepping too far?
Good sheep. Yeah. People walk their dogs through here all the time and stuff.
Mostly everything.
I did not say that. He drew that out of context. I actually said on the weekends, people walk their dogs through here and stuff, but it's okay. It's a weekday. He cut that out because what that makes it look like I'm doing is I'm intentionally walking into an area that is likely for conflict, which feeds into his narrative throughout this whole thing that I'm irresponsible and that I create conflict, yada, yada.
Aaron owns fits inside the cart he designed himself.
Yeah, bicycle wheels.
It's his bedroom,
Cover up.
his kitchen, and his bathroom.
Literally sit right here and just poop into it.
I told him that I poop in holes in the back of properties, but that I can go in my wagon in emergency. And he was like, how? And I said right here on the corner and put a bag underneath. And he was like, but how? Show me. And I had a bag right there, and so I just put it in that position as though. And then he asked me to explain that again. He's totally set me up. He's manipulating the conversation that we had to make it sound like I had that I poop in my wagon daily, all the time. When in fact I said that I can go in the wagon and have gone in emergencies.
Get the bag and then throw it away.
Daniel Allen is super dishonest.
In a garbage can?
Yeah. Good sheep. You hear her grunting? That's her like a pig. Like she's really happy right now.
Most of his diet comes from JC. Happy.
She's like a rebellious teenager.
Rosie,
All right.
and the animal that pulled his card,
Remy Man! Yeah!
Allegedly.
He knows his name. He's just a big love bug. Half gallon of sheep milk provides 2,100 calories. So each sheep can feed 3 people.
He also turns their wool into clothing, using just his hands and a cardboard box to
But it doesn't mention that I invented this new, simplest way of felting. He had the opportunity right here, and he intentionally leaves out that I invented a new method called box felting. I make a lot of my own clothes, curtains and bedding and evaporative wool coolers. He knows about all this stuff, and he's intentionally leaving it out because it legitimizes my character while trying to maintain the air that he is trying to help me and trying to document me in a good way. So obviously he can't be totally negative. He's got to ride the line perfectly, and they took a whole year to do this, to craft this narrative.
shape the felt.
1 sheep fleece is enough to make a full hoodie. And that hoodie is going to be thick, and it'll last like 5 years at least.
He actually doesn't mention any of my inventions, which I wouldn't care about if he didn't completely lie to me in order to get me to be interested and agree in having him film, because I told him I didn't trust him because he was with a big corporate news outlet. My eco living was the main thing that he said that he wanted to and spend time on in the video. And specifically, he was saying that he wanted to have my carbon footprint calculated by a professional. There's not even the word eco in here.
The very smallest scraps that I have, I use to make patches and to make toilet paper.
Toilet paper that I use back at the hole, and then when I start to run out, I wash.
Sometimes Aaron hunts wild animals, like raccoons. He cooks on this solar camping oven he bought online.
And their combination.
I bought online. He has to mention that to try to delegitimize my DIY life. Like my whole website, and what I would do is to help myself and others transition to an eventual point where we don't need to buy any more things. The very basis of my channel is DIY and my inventions. And as you can see, my entire website is dedicated to my DIY inventions and sharing them with people. See, I have PDF files all up and down my homepage sharing these inventions with people for free. This is a community survival guide. That's the other thing, is this Business Insider piece is painting me as like a crazy prepper, like a self-prepper, but I'm actually a community organizer and a community prepper. Like, this has group decision-making page in here so we can work together. It's got like survival Spanish in it. This is like a community survival guide. It's not like a typical survival guide. And my entire website is dedicated to community survival. I mean, I came up with a community alternative currency called Wiki Currency. Information is already the most valuable thing in the world with DIY. Sustainability and survival knowledge only becoming more and more valuable as economies decline. Making and trading this information-based alternative currency is the most efficient way for people in a community to cross-train each other and to knowing how to make, bake, grow, and sow everything it is they need to thrive when shit hits the fan. And I made several forms of this, made little booklet forms, and I made actual individual dollar forms with an included exchange board that you can scale up in size to fully facilitate all the trading that you need after crap hits the fan in a community. all those PDF files. Sleep slip dollars for the homeless. And all my videos outlining all of the DIY projects. I took 5 years to map out all the wild edible plants and fruit and nut trees in Ashland, Oregon, so that people can DIY, gather, and have a connection with their food. None of this is mentioned. Doormat sandals. I invented doormat sandals. I'm walking around the entire documentary with a newly invented, super sustainable shoe model. I upcycle out of doormats, old doormats. They're outside of businesses or right inside their doors. I throw them away after they get stains on them, and you can use them to cut up into 100 different sandals. The way that I milk sheep is even an invented new way. My wool evaporative coolers, wearable wool teepees. I got like 3 or 4 different wearable wool teepees. Instant pole system for the teepees. I've invented 2 new water distillers, or you can use them to distill essential oils. I invented DIY pack boxes made out of coroplast. So long lasting. I surprised myself when I lived out of those for a couple of years. That was nice before I got the wagon. He doesn't mention any of my DIY inventions, but yet he slips in this unnecessary bought offline.
Between a thermos and a greenhouse. Then I guess I'm going to be eating raccoon for the next week. I've eaten fox, raccoon, and coyote. I hear possum is really good.
Today, he's making ground lamb, seasoned with foraged plants.
This is mugwort from right down the road, and this is purslane.
The meat was a gift from a local farmer.
He didn't include even 1/10 of the foraging footage that he got while he was here. Second thing right here is he's lying by saying that this lamb meat was gifted to me by a farmer. He knows that this was bartered. This I got from the farm that I gave lambs to last, in which they give me free lamb meat. They're a meat sheep farm that wanted to get into dairy sheep, and I gave them my last round of lambs. And JC, I gave them JC, my elder, and now I get lamb meat whenever I want. He intentionally left that part out because it makes it sound like I am leeching off of these farms. So every little thing he's trying to do is to try to manipulate the viewer's perspective of how legitimate my lifestyle is.
Tops it all off with cheese aged on his wagon.
And he doesn't show me cracking my cheeses.
Like a 1-year aged cheddar.
He doesn't show where I'm aging the cheeses in my evaporative felted wool cooler that I invented. I mean, like, this isn't chance that he's leaving these things out, because that would be like if he showed me cracking cheese that I just pulled out of my invented evaporative cooler that I made with my sheep's wool, people are like, who does that? And if he showed each of the things that I've come up with, this would be a viral video. But I don't think they want it to be viral in a good way. So yeah, obviously.
Aaron avoids using money. Instead, he works for local farmers in exchange for food or a safe place to park his wagon.
I'm advertising my main service, which is farmhanding and farm sitting. Good sheep, go. Chickens, they love fresh water.
Today, he's cleaning out the chicken coop.
This is the type of job that farms and farmers really don't like to have to do. Open up and close the greenhouse daily. That's pretty much all I have to do. in exchange for.
So he just showed 2 things that I do on the farm, and then ended saying, and that's pretty much all I have to do. So that makes it obviously look like I'm lazier than if he had included the half dozen tasks that I did here that he filmed.
For staying out here. And it takes forever.
He uses
And it takes forever. That makes it just sound like I'm even more spoiled. It's like, that's pretty much all I have to do. It takes forever. It's hard work.
YouTube to share his message with others.
Thank you to all my new supporters.
And
He uses his YouTube channel to share his message, but then he puts in a clip right after that says, thank you to all my supporters for your support. So then the viewer thinks that my message is give me money.
his channel has started to generate a small but steady income.
I would like for people to take away from this footage that there is an alternative way. There's a more purposeful job for you.
He is, again, taking out just a section of our conversation and leaving out the part that would make sense. I was talking about farmhanding, and farmhanding isn't even mentioned here. My message is about farmhanding and the need to help small farmers with affordable and free labor in exchange for your camping and your food, your organic food.
It has much more time available and much more peace, and it's outside the artificial economies
On farms.
cities.
On farms.
When I'm editing, I edit with iMovie. I one-handed. I edit entirely one-handed with this thing.
Solar panels allow Aaron to charge his devices on the go.
This is a 150 watt A10 power solar panel. This is my 500 watt hour battery that my subscriber sent me.
And for things like his portable freezer,
I've got them plugged into my friend's outlet here.
Aaron's latest idea is turning sheep's milk into ice cream popsicles.
That's interesting. I put sea salt in it too.
He's headed into town to give out free samples.
People pay $5 a piece for like Haagen-Dazs. Yeah, I don't know. I just feel bad about trying to charge money for.
In this part of Oregon, temperatures can drop below freezing in winter and top 110 degrees Fahrenheit in summer.
And cool, evaporative cooler effect. Since sheep don't sweat, you gotta add the sweat to them.
Once Aaron gets within city limits, it's time
He has
to
an
whip
opportunity
out
here
another piece of
to
gear.
mention that I invented poop cups.
I'm gonna pull over right here and put their poop cups on and give them a drink real quick.
These
I
poop
forgot to
cups
put on
with
their
hair
poop
clips.
cups.
I invented poop cups for sheep
Why do you have to do this?
using a hair
I
clip.
don't have to. I just want to keep it sidewalk sanitary and not, give anyone reason to vilify what we're doing. Perfect.
Oh my gosh!
That one is.
Try this?
That one is nothing but my sheep's milk and pear syrup that I harvested from the cut down pear trees on Foss.
It's so hard to find someone who's real open.
This girl was kind of flirting with me. She asked me for this hug.
Ice cream.
She asked me for this hug.
Oh,
And he cut it out, so it
yeah.
makes it look like, normally the guy is the one that gives it, so it makes me kind of look like a creep.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
But Aaron's relationships with locals aren't always friendly.
He's not a very nice person. Like he's really aggressive.
Thanks, Charles.
He's always
Super
throwing
nice of you.
tantrums and fits. Like he's just aggro. I mean, I avoid him. I don't know.
He's always
used to
throwing
live-
temper tantrums. Business Insider was doing that.
Documentary
Yeah.
type thing.
I pointed at you across the street and I was like, "Oh, I bet Jim would give you a good story because he was the manager of Ace. You were helping me like find the parts and even like problem solve for like a lot of things that I was trying to tinker with and invent." He interviewed over a dozen people on our day around town, and none of them probably knew me as well as you, and as long as you've known me. So he didn't include any of those because they were all positive. He didn't include any of those. Didn't even want to talk to my neighbors or my friends or anything. He ended up including one guy talking about my character and saying, "I don't like that guy," is what he says. "I don't like that guy. He's aggro. He's always throwing temper tantrums and fits." And then that's the only person that he includes on talking about my history or character or anything. Do you think that I'm always throwing temper tantrums and fits and that I'm aggro?
I'm never seen you throw a fit at all.
I've never seen it.
That's what I'm wanting to. That's what I'm trying to share with people.
Yeah.
And yeah, you had nothing bad to say? Of course not. I didn't think so.
It's almost like somebody said, hey, go get some dirt on there and we want to make a documentary and we want to twist it all around or something to make him, to not include any positive interviews that they did and just kind of pick that one. He really did you unjust.
Well, he did us all unjust because I'm trying to like advocate that the people that don't like their jobs and don't believe in the system, and all that, and they want to burn the system down. No, don't burn the system down. The most anarchic, awesome thing you can do is go farm or farmhand. And so you gave him a good review, right? You gave him good interview, and had nothing but good things to say. Guess what? He interviewed over 12 people that I connected him with, and guess what? He didn't include one of y'all.
Oh no.
Can you believe that? No. And instead included one testimony from a clear hater. He says, oh, I don't like that guy. He, quote, always throwing temper tantrums, and he's aggro. Does that sound accurate to you guys?
No, not at all.
Exactly. What's interesting is that he just included a clip of that guy saying that I'm always throwing a temper tantrum, and then 10 seconds later, they trying to make me look like I'm throwing a temper tantrum.
At some point, Aaron says the local police started ticketing him for walking his animals in public parks.
I'm going to write you a ticket, and you
I'm
can
not
tell
taking the
judge.
ticket. I'm not taking the ticket.
You can do whatever you want.
No, I'm not taking the ticket, and I'm not.
Eventually, the Ashland...
Officer Muck video happened 4 years later. I know, he's not, but
they completely took this video out of context
She said he'll be back in a second.
so that it would look like an example of me throwing a temper tantrum.
So that we don't.
It wasn't even in the same city. It's like in Phoenix, which is several cities over.
Eventually, the Ashland City Council passed a law requiring special permits to bring any livestock, except horses, into town.
So if Aaron Fletcher gets a horse, he's going to be able to walk it all over town.
That's how Aaron ended up in Talent, which is surrounded by orchards.
I want to stop for a second. First of all, he completely left out. He had the opportunity here. He said, Aaron used to live in Ashland, but at some point, he started getting tickets from cops. Well, if he would have gone right before that, the 2 months prior before that would have explained how I ended up being a person that walks around with goats, in which case he left out because it would actually legitimize my character, because how I got the goats was I was a responsible citizen who got together with other responsible citizens. We met multiple times to draft a new urban livestocking laws that we then brought to the city council and had them vote on it and okay it. And then when people in the communities weren't getting goats, I started passing out a flyer called the Ashland Goat Share Flyer. Here's the Goat Share program. I bought 2 miniature-sized dairy goats along with a handheld manual milking machine, and got them a little crate shelter, and I loaned them out, and we shared the milking duties and the milk supply. And these people that agreed to a 1 month minimum yarding would flip-flop on me before the 1 month, and so I had to walk around more and more with my dairy sheep. The story's right here on my website, on my About page, and he's seen all of this. He's obviously leaving out how I even got to be a person who walks around with goats, with dairy goats. And he's leaving it out, obviously, because it's such a responsible story. Look, he left this out too. I was put into a legendary Locals Ashland book that was sold and still is sold in the library today before I even got goats, because of all the activism that I was doing in town, which is the ultimate reason why I got kicked out of town. That's why they targeted me with that no livestock walking through town. He's intentionally shying away from explaining how I ended up being a person that walks around with dairy sheep, because it would legitimize my character.
Aaron used to live in Ashland, Oregon. At some point, Aaron says the local police started ticketing him for walking his animals in public parks.
I'm going to write you a ticket, and you
I'm
can
not
tell
taking the
judge.
ticket.
So here Daniel's asking, do you have any records, electronic or otherwise, of the kind of tickets they used to give you in Ashland?
and I sent him these pictures. He ticketed me for going into the wool store for felting needles at the time. I was learning felting needles. I had my sheep tied up to the post outside just like people do their dogs, and he came and gave me a ticket for
Leaving animals unattended was the fourth ticket that he gave me. The first ticket that he gave me was keeping of animals for walking just one of my goats into town at a time instead of having the 2 goats that is required to have in backyards. He gave me this twice. He also gave me a scattering rubbish ticket, and none of these had anything to do with the park. He, again, twists every little thing in here he's able to, and says that I was walking through parks, and that leads viewers to rightfully believe that, well, that's not cool. You shouldn't be walking through parks, where there's people, and that's a little inappropriate. But right of way, being able to walk through town, if he had said the more accurate term, then it would, again, not be delegitimizing my character, like saying that I'm walking through parks.
You can do whatever you want.
No, I'm not taking the ticket, and I'm not.
Eventually, the Ashland City Council passed a law requiring special permits to bring any livestock, except horses, into town.
So if Aaron Fletcher gets a horse, he's going to be able to walk it all over town.
That's how Aaron ended up in Talent, which is surrounded by orchards. He built relationships with several property owners who let him stay for free.
I work trade for them in exchange for camping and produce.
Yeah.
But just as he was getting settled, his lifestyle was put to the test in 2020.
Oh my God. The place is on fire.
That September, the Almeda fire blazed through Ashland and leveled Talent's downtown.
It's in our freaking orchard. No, come on. And I'm making better speed than these cars trying to evacuate. Keep going. That's really scary. Really scary. And if I hadn't gotten out right then I would have been trapped. Like our exit would have been engulfed in flames, and we wouldn't have been able to get out.
By the summer of 2022, much of Talent's commercial center remained empty. Many here still live in a trailer park built by the government that was meant to be a temporary housing solution. Aaron says his way of life can offer ideas to people struggling to find a home.
And those people that are in RVs could be happier, healthier, and have more purpose if they had a connection with the local small farmers that need their help right now.
Aaron doesn't talk about his past much, but he didn't always live like this.
Oh yeah, I was raised like everyone else on soda pop and cereal.
He left his parents' home in Kansas City when he was a teenager.
Yeah, I thought that crap was going to hit the fan back 15 years ago when I voluntarily went homeless first. I thought it was going to happen within, weeks or months. And here it is, 15 years later or so.
At first, he hopped trains with his dog.
No, at first I was actually developing the world's smallest community survival guide. Making sauerkraut in my backpack. I was foraging and uploading foraging. You could have said that it started with me learning how to forage, because that was even before I started train hopping, where he's trying to make it sound like it started off in a less responsible angle. Yeah, then happens the first train hopping video. Then the DIY mace I invented, and then he leaves out, and then he includes the dumpster diving, and then excludes the DIY doormat sandals. Literally, like, one of the better inventions that's come through me. Like, that's as soon as people realize that those companies throw away those mats and that they're free material to sell an eco product that everyone can use. Wow. Yeah, he's selectively choosing train hopping, dumpster diving. Both those make me look more scummy and less legitimate of a character and responsible of a character.
Go on. And he used to dumpster dive for food.
I just dumped 24 cases of unexpired hummus and 6 eggs.
About 10 years ago, he got more serious about sustainability. He adopted goats, then sheep.
He, again, leaves out the origins of why I adopted and how I first adopted goats and sheep.
Started trying to get all his food from local sources. Aaron has been
They
getting by
they don't want people to try to get all of their food from local sources, and that's probably another reason why. Put it on Insider Business. They have like 12 different channels on YouTube that are subsects of Insider, and Insider Business is one of them. What businessman would be interested in this? And it seems as though it's discouraging businessmen from wanting to abandon their bullshit jobs, and basically this is like leaving trying to leave society. It's definitely not encouraging them, which I can understand why a business-minded corporation would not want to promote. That's why I was paranoid the whole time before we even met, and surely when it started taking a year for him to come out with this video, I was like, man, this can't be good.
his way of living for years now. But I wanted to know how it's affecting his health. So we hired a local doctor to come give him a checkup.
Hi, Dr. Duncan.
McLean Duncan runs Siskiyou Vital
Dr.
Medicine.
Duncan,
Your oxygen saturation is at
you guys are awesome.
99%,
I
which
love
is
him and his
perfect.
partner.
So now we're going to take your blood pressure.
They're awesome. They've
So I
been
got
trading me
120/80.
their garden food
Come
for
a little bit deeper.
cheap products.
It's gurgled.
Nice. I'm taking 6 vials.
Holy shnipe, why?
Okay, that's one of the most egregious dishonesties of his entire production. He got me to sign a paper, like a waiver, for them to draw my blood. He just told me that they were going to draw blood. He said nothing about 6 vials, but he knew that they were going to draw 6 vials. And he did not tell me. That is like one of the major dishonesties that he has in his video here. It's such a crappy feeling to have something stolen from you dishonestly, like an actual object, but to have something stolen from the inside of you in a dishonest way is like, creepy.
Well, because we're testing a lot of things on you.
Oh my god. You shouldn't have told me that.
You got a blanket or something we can lay down?
What?
Yeah, where's the...
Here, let's lay.
I said you shouldn't have told me that. I was like, what? I'm already in it, and like, I would not have let if Dr. Duncan had told me right before he started drawing that, okay, we're gonna have to take 6 vials. I would have been like, wait, what? 6 vials? No way. I hate drawing blood. It was so hard for me to agree to let them draw blood. There's no way I would have agreed to that, and so that's why when he started and he pulled off the first vial, and he was like, okay, now we'll go for the second vial. And I was like, how many vials? What are you talking about? What is this? And he was like, 6. I was like, what? I was like, oh man, now you shouldn't have told me, because this is like a lot harder for me to ignore this needle that's in my arm right now. It was like, it gave me a lot of anxiety when I heard that, and yeah.
Jack you down and then have you lay down. There you go. Come here, buddy. Come on. 1, 2, 3. There we go. And kick his feet up. This is going to go out. There you go. There you go, dude.
All this time he could have been showing all my inventions. He wasted so much time crafting this.
There you go.
I passed out, huh?
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's a lot of blood, man.
Wow, interesting. I had a dream.
What dream did you have?
I don't know.
I feel pretty good about Aaron. All exams are pretty normal. Great vitals. He's got great looking skin. He's a little bit thin on the body fat, but seems pretty good.
I've always been thin.
We'll find out more in the labs.
The labs were perfect, except for slightly elevated.
We reviewed
It was
Aaron's
like,
blood tests.
yeah.
Aside from lightly elevated cholesterol,
Lightly.
probably because of all that milk and cheese, he has no major health issues. Aaron is not completely self-sufficient.
I never said that I was.
Me going to the food
Like,
any food that I consume from the artificial economy.
all right, that guy that he just showed was another surprise to me that that he filmed that guy. That's Robert from Vericent Soap, who I have been trading my sheep's milk to his sheep milk soap company. that he previously, before he met me, he was having to buy it shipped in, frozen from the coast, from a sheep dairy on the coast. And he's been buying it from almost shepherd for the last year. That's like epic footage. He filmed this guy and our bartering exchange there. He gave me soap, I don't remember what other food, and a whole bag of oranges for a gallon of milk, guys. Like, he filmed that whole thing. It took him like, Robert was with us for like an hour at least, if not 2 hours. And I was really surprised that he didn't put our bartering in there, because he said that he wanted to show all the bartering and my eco lifestyle, but also because he like chatted it up with Robert for so long, because they're both like the same sect of Orthodox Judaism. I don't remember what it's called. And I thought for sure that he would be like posting Robert's like website link in the video description, along with the whole bartering that we did. But he literally like left it out because it would legitimize me too much. And he actually spun that to make it look like I'm getting this stuff for free from someone driving by or something. He doesn't even mention that this stuff was bartered, which is, it's sad. Daniel, your whole motive here is so sad. Your video is sad too, man. You could have had the raddest viral video showing everything that you could have, all the information that you were given and all the footage that you took. If you had just shown an honest view of my life, your video would be so helpful to the world and viral. It would have made a lot of money, but obviously you have some stronger intentions here.
As fuel.
Go back to it. I just wanted you to see that they didn't show my bartering.
Episodes on me going to the food bank in town. Any food that I consume from the artificial economy, I use it as fuel to then refocus on.
This he drew out of context too. I was grazing my sheep in a vacant parking lot that has a food truck next to it, and they came out and gave it to me. That's like, why would you leave out that awesome footage? It makes my character more legitimate if the local food trucks are bringing me food. It's like, hey, well, that guy must be nice and awesome if he's getting free food from the food truck. But they left that out. Thank you so much. Oh my God.
Turkey. Right?
Oh man, turkey, yeah. And just show me after I've received it, and it makes me look like I'm a regular consumer. Everything is just a little twist.
Seeking out these weaning ways.
Shortly after we filmed with Aaron, Rosie passed away from bloat, a common cause of death for livestock.
The most.
But then, Happy had 2 lambs.
Good boy.
And in a new experiment, Aaron raised money from his subscribers to buy a donkey that would help him travel longer distances.
This is Faith the donkey do.
So far, he's had mixed results. The donkey caused a major crash that he caught on his cell phone camera.
And that you manipulated to make it look like a cuss by putting a beep.
Oh my gosh.
So evil that he did that. That was straight evil. He straight up injected that dishonesty.
Aaron Fletcher has sacrificed a lot since he decided to strive to become self-sufficient. He truly believes that this is the best way he can serve others.
That's all I can do is to try to better all of our hope for the future, and to have help getting that hope out.
Again, he's not talking about my hope. My hope is that people would become aware through this video of their more purposeful place work trading for their local small farms. The small farmers need your help, so it's just so much more purposeful. They need your help because they're being red taped and inflationed out of being able to afford their farms and taxed. Bill Gates and BlackRock are monopolizing the farmland in America. I discussed all that when he was asking me about my purpose earlier on in the video. He shows a little clip of my supposed purpose, but he was just showing a little segment of it. Here again, he's showing just a segment of it that doesn't convey my message.
Is even more hope.
Has anybody ever called you crazy?
Yeah.
Are you crazy?
Everyone's a little crazy. But no one's, it's no measure of health it's no measure of health to be well adjusted to a profoundly sick society. And I'm obviously the least adjusted. So I would say that I'm the least crazy.
I'm the least adjusted in that I don't agree with going along with monetary enslavement. And we talked about this too, and he doesn't include any of it.
Of anyone that I know.
There you go, guys. How ridiculous was that? So ridiculous.